boasting white hair and deciding to skip the formalities. She first talks about the reason the council decided on a detour from the mission with Lance Aya. It's because of a new discovery in the deepest levels of certain dungeons. What they've found are real traces from mages that aren't from the Dicathan continent. Aliyah stands up in shock, recalling how the existence of a second continent was nothing more than a rumor at first. But Baron preaches the worst part is that this foreign continent knows enough about them, while they know nothing about these mysterious invaders. He turns to ask Varai if the material has been confirmed. She actually confirms that the piece of cloth they discovered boasts a mana that doesn't exist in Dicathan. Baron could even sense the mana imbued in the fabric, so he's interested in knowing whatever spell was casted. Varai explains that the spell was disabled as the cloth no longer functions. Varai focuses on a separate matter that solely concerns Alea. She reveals a scroll, highlighting the sightings of giant bloodworms in different parts of Beast Glades. Aliyah doesn't understand why it's such an issue since these bloodworms aren't considered rare to begin with. Varai then talks about the strangeness concerning the bloodworms. These monsters have started to deviate from their typical tunneling patterns. It may seem ridiculous at first, but it's possible that their strange behavior indicates that the foreign mages are resting in the deepest levels of the dungeons. Baron recalls leading an investigation, but it didn't work out. Since Alea excels in sensory magic, she thinks she would be up to the job with her skills. Varai wants her to work solo on this mission so no one can delay her, while Baron intends to investigate the deeper areas for more clarity. Lance Varai suggests Alea to take Lance Mika if she desires, but Alea rejects the suggestion at once. She knows that countless lives are being threatened the more they fail to act. That's why it's important for her to start the investigation at once. Back to our boy again, who can't stop yawning until he sees a disciplinary committee member getting tossed into next Tuesday. Kathleen was trying to save her brother, but stopping him with ice is just as bad as hitting him against the wall. Next up is Theo, who leaps up to attack this guy. Curtis is hammered with a secondary spell which impairs his gravity, something not even Arthur has figured out how to use yet. His weapon is stolen from him when he chants explode and throws up a column of flame, separating the two fighters. It's a tactic even Theo is impressed with. The 5th round of training begins when Kai uses his threads to stop them from fighting on Claire's orders. This is the first time Arthur has seen this kind of unique magic. He wonders how Kai is able to manipulate the strings. The fight was progressing smoothly, but Claire wants them to attend classes safe and sound. The group gathers in a meeting as Claire highlights how Arthur, Curtis, and herself will be off campus for a trip in the Beast Glades region. They've already routined a bunch of patrol routes to make up for their loss while they're absent. Kai is willing to volunteer for more hours in patrolling work, which sounds like a careful approach. Another student quickly follows the volunteering process. Lastly, Kai manipulates Doradrea's arm with his strings to make her volunteer. He's looking forward to enjoying his time with her, as it's been a while. Doradera accepts as long as she's well fed. The meeting concludes with Arthur being stopped by his so-called rival. He warns the guy to be careful in the wild, not knowing that our boy is already classed as an A-rank adventurer before he even came to school. Arthur escapes them and goes up to ask Claire about the kind of magic Kai specializes in. Interestingly, he hasn't told anyone apart from the fact that his metal wires are special. Arthur wonders if the wires are capable of hiding the mana attribute of the spell. The creepy guy draws near Arthur wondering what they're talking about. Arthur harmlessly asks about the intricacies of his metal wires, only to receive a creepy and suspicious warning from the guy. Claire breaks their confrontation, reminding them about their upcoming class. In the training room, Elijah is busy focusing on sharpening his earth attacks against level 7 Toby. The attacks are easily dodged until he finally manages to pin the artifact down. Elijah's about to deal the finishing blow when suddenly, Toby initiates a fire spell that releases a cannon so powerful only Arthur is there to save him. Elijah is dying to know how recent the artifact managed to learn how to control flames. Evna Arthur was unaware until now, and believes it must be a tricky tactic from the lousy inventor to beat him somehow. Elijah is really interested in how he works on the uniqueness of the artifact. He's always had an interest in artificing, but was unable to take his interest anywhere because he's trash at magic. Arthur teases him for only learning magic to impress the chicks. The nerd doesn't even deny it. So now, his friend hands him a wooden sword, claiming that he should at least learn the basics of melee combat. Bro finishes up his point by saying that it's also for the girls. This provokes Elijah into attacking him, only for Arthur to dodge back to back. He's actually rather impressed with Elijah's form and wonders if he's received training before. This guy swings with very little wasted movement, and his footwork is steady and balanced. It's impressive to the point Arthur thinks he boasts a talent for becoming a swordsman. If he could manage that with his metal magic, he'd be tough to beat. Arthur dodges his attack and swipes him dead. Elijah's anger created a careless opening for him. When he sees Arthur extending his hand, the boy is reminded of an image of an important figure. Suddenly, his brain is clogged with a plethora of emotions and conflicting feelings, making Arthur worried. Even Elijah doesn't get what's happening or why he's experiencing such a surge of emotions. While Arthur insists that they take him to the medical ward, Glasses Boy says he's okay and he just experienced a headache. He doesn't explain anything and intends to wash up now. He bids him farewell for the meantime. Arthur waves him goodbye all the same. The following few weeks were as peaceful as they could get. Our boy was sleeping through his classes because of exhaustion. They were nearing the mid-cycle exams and Arthur found it difficult to keep in touch with each of his classes. He taught the same in his own class. Despite his growing skills with the help of teachers and artifacts, Arthur never forgot about the reason he attended school in the first place. He found himself at peace, just enjoying the small, everyday moments of life with the people he loved most. That's the only thing that he looked forward to every day. Arthur and Elijah are sharing a walk when suddenly, Glasses Boy freezes and spaces out. It's been like that for a few days, but Elijah doesn't want to talk about it and deflects that it's because of his exams. Their trip to Beast Glades is also right around the corner. Elijah hopes for Arthur to be careful in his training with Tessia to remain healthy. Interestingly, Sylvie has picked up on his strange anger towards Arthur, who has also felt the same. Later in his assimilation training with Tessia, Arthur is glad to announce that her mana core is stabilizing rapidly. She has high hopes for the future, only for them to get dashed with a flick of our boy's finger. He doesn't want her to get overly arrogant as she's barely at her full strength due to the assimilation process. Then there's Arthur, who literally can't use his most powerful elements right now in his upcoming trip. But his case is different as he can always remove his limiters while Tessia is bound. She is frustrated that he always treats her like a child, despite being a year older. Bro doubles down instead of apologizing and reminds her of the time she was scared shitless as a child because of the beasts. Poor Tessia grows so embarrassed that she pounces on top of him, ready to scratch him like hell. Arthur is thankfully saved by a surprise visit from Tessia's grandpa, who is astonished that these lovebirds are so close already. The elf takes a moment to realize that she's actually sitting on his body. She leaps away in embarrassment. Arthur gets up and inquires what Virion is doing here since he should be flooded in meetings by now. Virion continues to tease Tessia with his provocative remarks, causing the little elf to teach him a lesson. Virion is worried about the dungeon excursion event as Arthur won't be around. He wants the boy to assist Tessia until tomorrow at least. Our boy rejects the request because he's got to meet his family tonight before he goes away. Grandpa over here thinks it's a brilliant idea for him to take Tessia along, but Arthur is out here standing with a giant cross, denying anything like that. He knows his parents will go crazy if that happens. Yeah, well, all that ranting ended up useless as Arthur ended up bringing her home. The family opens the door excited to find the two of them here. Arthur wonders how they already know about Tessia's visit. Turns out this family is one step ahead and already prepared presents for them too. Alice welcomes them inside, while Ellie is dying to show Tessia her improvement in archery skills. From afar, Arthur gazes at the view of the people he loves with all his heart. It makes him smile as he enters inside. With the sweet moment aside, let's explore a darker twist. Lancelea is on her own exploring the splitting trail in the dungeon. This means Varai's suspicion regarding the bloodworms was right, as they couldn't have possibly shifted their paths on their own. Just based on the pattern made in these tunnels, she can conclude their convergence leading towards the Grand Mountains. Alia